to Trashy, where we take a dumpster dive on this week's trashiest news stories and a look at all the garbage people. My name is Erika. I'm
My
your
name
host.
is. Oh my God! Did I already
God.
beef it? I already
Beefed it.
I beefed it. Fucking you! You started the podcast so good, and I just beefed it. I'm Cassandra, the beef queen.
If you're enjoying this podcast, you can support us in two ways. You can make us a financial donation to help us upgrade our equipment and keep on hosting the podcast. Or you can leave us a 5-star review in the iTunes Apple Store. Hey, Cass.
Yes.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, the iTunes Apple Store? Is this is Apple Podcasts.
Yes, Apple
iTunes
Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts. Mm-hmm. I'm just making sure that, you're not going to beef it either.
I'm fully beefing it this morning. Should we
this
start
is your
over?
First episode of Trashy.
It's my first episode this morning.
I'm saying, oh, what? I mean, for the listeners, if this is your first time listening to Trashy, yeah, this is right.
We're normally a lot better. Hey, Cass, how have you been trashed this week?
I'd like to heap on some more historical trash, if we may. I was trash because in high school, my high school sweetheart was a straight edge kid. If you don't know what that means, it's no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes, whatever. And, I was like an emo kid, so it's kind of popular to be straight edge. And which is like kind of like the dream, I guess, if you're a parent and you're like, God, my kid's got like fucking 3 piercings in her face and listens to like this screamo music, but like, oh, but they like that they don't do drugs. Okay. Anyway, so we would break up kind of frequently, me and this boy, and every time we would break up, I would rage because like he was straight edge, and when I was dating him, I was straight edge, but like, historically speaking, Cassandra started smoking pot at a young age and started drinking and smoking cigarettes, in like the proper time, high school, I guess. I don't know. So whenever we would break up, I would rage. But I owned a lot of like merch and t-shirts that said straight edge because they looked cool. Mm-hmm. And so I would wear them ironically.
That is so trashy.
Yeah. Yeah. I would wear them to a kickback, if you will.
What is a kickback?
It's not a party. And it's like it's bigger than just hanging out, and it's smaller than a party. I would say the ideal number for a kickback is maybe 4 to 8 people. Anything more, you're in a party. Anything less, it's like, no, you go hanging out. So it's like, Erika, you want to come to a kickback at my place later? Like, okay. That's like, we're all going to sit around in a circle, talk shit, drink, maybe, like smoke pot. And so I would wear my straight edge gear to a kickback. And we would laugh and laugh and laugh. So I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of
wild.
Trash. I'm a piece of trash. Why are you trash, Erika?
Well, prior to recording, we were just talking about Lil Pump and Lil Wayne's surprising turn for the campaign for Trump.
Yes.
And I was reminded that in school, back in school days, I made Lil Wayne went to jail or prison, I don't remember which, for illegal firearm possession, which, sometimes you register a gun in your mother's name and then you forget you have it and then you carry it across state lines. It happens to everybody.
Is that what his specific case was?
Yes.
Really?
I believe so. It can happen to anyone, truly. So we thought that this was unjust and made Free Wheezy t-shirts, unlicensed image of Lil Wayne.
Wow.
And then sold them.
For how much?
None of the funds going to Lil Wheezy.
Yeah, to his like bail
defense
or his
fund,
family.
or his family or his bail fund. None of it going there. All of it going straight into my pocket.
Wow. You're like one of the original influencers. I
felt strongly. I did. I had like a merch line that I would come up with a phrase and I would put it on a t-shirt and then sell them.
Did you coin the phrase Free Wheezy?
No, I did not coin it, but I illegally used it.
Wow.
You know what? I might have coined it.
I think you did.
I think I did. Free Wheezy, that was my battle cry.
Mm-hmm.
I was calling senators. No, I wasn't.
Wow.
No, I wasn't. I didn't take it that far. Speaking of historical trash, our first story is some historical trash. Let's get into it.
According to atlasobscura.com, in mid-July 1980, Kathleen Bick decided to treat her business partner, Larry Becker, to dinner. They ran a public relations design business, and things were going well in business, so she chose L'Orangerie, a restaurant whose Parisian owners, Virginia and Gerard Ferry, were looking to inject old-world French elegance into the West Hollywood dining scene.
The pair were seated and given menus. Becker, the gentleman's, was green, and Bick, the lady, was unexpectedly white. Before tax, the veal medallion was $26, or a steaming $82 in today's money, but Bick's menu said nothing of the sort. In fact, the whole white menu didn't list any of the prices. It was assumed that Becker, as the man, would pay, and that Bick, the woman, didn't need to worry her pretty little head about anything so unseemingly as money.
Yeah, so this restaurant had ladies' menus, essentially, which I guess is a common feature in high-end restaurants throughout Europe. Well, it was. It's pretty much extinct now. And even in the 1980s, apparently this was very rare. But yeah, so this Kathleen Bick was like, I gotta get Gloria Allred.
Hell yeah, that's when you know you're pulling out the big guns.
Yeah, so Allred called the restaurant and was like, what's up with this ladies' menu? And the Virginie Ferry replied, because a woman is a woman is a woman. And Allred was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? They're sticking to their guns on this misogynistic menu practice.
It was apparently the French way.
The French way violates California Civil Rights Act.
Bam. So Allred, Bick, and Becker charged the restaurant with discrimination. They asked for statutory damages of at least $250 and sought a permanent injunction to end the dual menu practice.
And until the restaurant dropped the policy, they called on the State Alcohol and Beverage Commission to revoke the restaurant's liquor license. Now, isn't that a nice little historical trash story?
That is so nice. It summed up the restaurant fixed the policy. There's no longer ladies' menus.
Have you ever been to a spot that doesn't put their prices on the menu?
Oh, that's when you know you're in the wrong spot. You need to get the GTFO of that spot because you cannot afford to eat there.
Yeah. I've got, like, I love to spend a pretty penny on a meal. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, I just every once in a while just saying, like, we are about to, I want the check over 300. Like, this is what I'm talking about. And even still, I prefer to go to a place that at least has the prices.
Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes, depending on where my finances are at, I'll look ahead of time at the menu and kind of, like, especially if I'm taking someone on a date, you know, and I want it to be a fancy date or something, I'll, like, block out what we're going to order, you know, or, like, some possibilities. Like, I'll play chess with it a little bit. And I'm obsessed with chess lately, as we all know. Queen's Gambit. But I'll play chess with it to kind of figure out, like, all the scenarios of, like, just so I kind of know how much I'm going to spend. Yeah, no prices. Yeah, scary.
Yeah, you abort. You are in the wrong restaurant if there are no prices on the menu.
I'm not taking you to that place, honey buns. Sorry.
I'll take you to a Denny's.
A Denny's?
I'll take you to a nice Denny's. You know, the one with the non-laminated menus.
What are they made out of?
Oh, just paper, baby, because we've got disposable menus.
Ooh, you know, Denny's has been one of the many restaurants in this pandemic who has utilized outdoor dining, and I can't think of a place I would rather eat less than a Denny's parking lot.
I would rather eat a slap of leather than eat in an outdoor Denny's.
You're like, Erika, we don't have to go to Denny's. You don't have to eat that leather belt. And you're like, nope.
I keep my word. I'm a woman of my word.
Yes. Speaking of being a woman, according to the New York Post, an estimated 1/4 of U.S. women don't know where their vagina is, which doesn't seem fair.
It doesn't seem right, but have you ever talked to a child about anatomy?
Okay, a child is not a woman.
No, but a child knows all of the anatomical names. Like, they're taught from an early age now, because I feel like our generation was just taught vagina. End of statement.
Okay, so my mom was a nurse.
Oh, okay. Then we were raised very differently.
Well, I don't think so, because My mom was a nurse, but she would use words like twat.
Oh, no.
Which literally makes my fucking skin curdle. Like,
yes,
you
I feel icky hearing that phrase.
I remember like being like camping or something like that, and we all get in our all the kids get in our swimsuits, and like someone's mom would be like, this is probably wrong, but someone would just make a reference to like, careful of your kitty cat.
Oh, no.
And then I'd be like, your kitty cat, and my mom would just go, her twat. And it just like was so gross. Like, Jesus, you fucking have gone to medical school. Like, don't call it a twat.
Let me clarify what I meant when I say talk to a child. I was a nanny for a very long. Please don't turn off the podcast hearing talk to a child about their anatomy. But I was a nanny, and I feel like in LA, these children are very aware of they're taught the correct terms, and they'll just identify a part of their body and be like, this hurts or this itches or whatever it is. And I'm like, I don't know if I can talk to you about this, but they are taught the correct terms, whereas I was not.
Head, shoulders, twat and toes,
Twat and toes.
Okay, so Intimina is a Swedish women's health company, and they commissioned this study that we were talking about before we got off track, I guess. It included responses from 2,000 women, and the spokesperson was saying that they were hoping to reveal a critical gap in American education. And to that I say, mind your own fucking business, Sweden. Stay the fuck out of it, Sweden. Okay? Normally I'm not like that, but also like, fuck you. Like, fuck off.
46% of ladies couldn't point out their cervix, and a 59% couldn't suggest a different body part when asked to identify the uterus.
59% suggested a different body part. Which one?
I know what a kidney looks like, I think, but it doesn't look like a uterus.
A uterus is a very distinct, beautiful organ. Gotta know which one that one is, because we have that one and boys don't.
Yeah, that's tough. Mind your business, Sweden.
When we're talking about the cervix, are they looking at a diagram to point this out, or do they have to actually physically show the cervix?
Oh, like, are they being asked to
show us where it is?
Body?
Like, I don't know if I can dig that deep, but that's where it is.
This is where it is, and I'll just point.
Yeah, it's the top of this. When you go all the way in, that's where you find it. 1 in 4 women misidentified the vagina. 46 could not correctly identify the cervix. And they're trying to figure out who to blame for this.
Women were divided on whom to blame of their poor understanding of their own body. 36% said teachers failed. 28% represented that parents failed them. And 27% called for better public education standards.
The research shows that even though it is 2020, women don't know enough about their bodies, and as a result, are not able to take an active role in their care. Knowing their bodies and knowing how the reproductive system works gives women the power to be able to advocate for their well-being and get the support they need.
Were you given a health class in school?
Yeah. I was in a couple. Like, I don't remember elementary school so much, but I know middle school, there was a health class, and which I distinctly remember because they brought in an abstinence advocate to hand out bracelets to whomever promised to stay a virgin until they were married. This is in Santa Clarita, by the way, and which I very defiantly sat at my desk, and they said, "You don't want a bracelet?" And I said, "I'm not going to stay a virgin until I'm married." Very slutty 8th grader I was.
Damn.
No, I just fucking knew. I knew. Yeah. I'm not here to lie for a goddamn bracelet. I don't give a fuck. And then I know I had another health class freshman year of high school in Burbank. And I'm sure that there must have been. You know what? I remember elementary school, they split up the girls and the boys now. We had to watch a video about periods, and I don't know what the boys got to do.
They were just given sticks and rocks, and we're like, go outside now.
They certainly weren't being taught anything about consent.
I was never given. We had abstinence speakers come in and tell us that if you kiss somebody, you'll get, AIDS. That was basically it. But we were never given a health class. to this day blame my upbringing for my lack of understanding of my own body.
Do you know where your vagina is?
I can point to it.
Do you? It's 9 p.m. Do you know where your vagina is?
Oh, man. Speaking of giving sticks and rocks and just hoping for the best, according to the dailystar.co.uk, men told to pee into urinal from 8 feet away in ridiculous social distancing measures.
Okay. I have an issue with this story. We're going to go through it, and then I'm going to bring up my bullshit.
Okay.
So an unbelievable sign was spotted by a gent, who are spotted by gents who visited the loos in an office in London where men were asked to keep their distance from a row of urinals, and this sign was 8 feet away.
The man said this was the most ridiculous social distancing measure yet. Alistair Hilton joked that he opted to use the cubicle instead as he wasn't sure he'd be able to hit the target from such a distance.
What do you do with a name like Alistair Hilton besides be like British or like an Abercrombie model?
I think you work in finance. Like, that's your only option.
That checks out. So while in the toilet cubicle, he saw another sign telling him to close the lid before flushing for his own safety. He said, "It's beautifully done. They've spent some money printing this sticker, and it must be 8 feet across or something." I just thought it was hilarious.
Each toilet that you go into now, you are essentially assaulted by something weird and wonderful. You used to go in there, and there was just a toilet.
Okay, look. Here's my problem.
Okay.
So, and we'll post this picture on our Instagram, but there's 3 urinals against the wall. And then the middle one, there's a sign above that says maintain social distancing. And then, about 8 feet back, there's a huge thing on the ground that says maintain social distance or keep from distancing. There's nothing on this thing that says stand here to pee. Okay? All they're fucking saying is you're entering into a tight space, so go every other urinal or only use the middle one. I mean, it's not saying that either, I guess, but like fucking Alistair Hilton just wanted to be like seen that day. So he was like, I'm going to call the dailystar.co and tell them that they're making us pee from 8 feet away. No, they're fucking not, you stupid idiot.
I think men take everything as a challenge, and this was one of those things.
What are you going to do? You're going to stand 3 people shoulder to shoulder 8 feet away?
That makes no sense.
That's ridiculous. He's treating it like it's a fucking carnival game. It's not, douchebag. They're just fucking saying to keep distance in the bathroom. You stupid dick. I don't know. I read this and I got mad.
That's fair, as you should. Speaking of making me mad, according to the NewYorkTimes.com...
Oh, I know that website. I pay for it.
Oh, huge brag. We pay for media. In Miami, a high school principal in Florida whose refusal to acknowledge the Holocaust as factual historical event in an email led to a national backlash. His firing and then rehiring has been fired for the second time.
Okay, so William Latson was fired last year after an email exchange about saying, quote, politically neutral about the Holocaust, and then it became public, but he was rehired last month and fired again on Tuesday.
Mr. Latson, who worked for the district for 26 years, oversaw Spanish River High until he was reassigned in July of 2019 after his remarks in an email with a parent drew a national uproar.
He said in the email, "I can't say the Holocaust is a factual historical event because I am not in the position to do so as a school district employee. I do allow information about the Holocaust to be presented and allow students and parents to make decisions about it accordingly. I do the same with information about slavery."
News of Mr. Latson's email drew outrage, particularly in South Florida, which has a large Jewish population.
So this is the essential business of this, is that, and I don't know if teachers' unions are to blame here, but I'm going to guess they are. Mm-hmm. He got fired for this, which makes fucking sense.
Right.
And then the unions, or whomever was defending him, said, no, that's not fair. He shouldn't have been fired. He probably should have just been reassigned. So then they brought him back to just reassign him. And then everyone was like, what the fuck is this? He should be fired. And so then he got fired again, basically. What a stupid song and dance.
Yeah, this is just kind of like political school board theater, if you will.
Yeah. He said, in a video that was released 3 minutes before he had or they were voting on whether or not he should come back. He said, "I'm not a Holocaust denier. I have never been a Holocaust denier, and I'm sorry that my comments caused people to think that." Well, dude,
don't make comments that say the Holocaust was. I can't.
It's not even that he is denying the Holocaust. He's just saying, I'm not going to tell you it happened. I'm not going to tell you it didn't happen. You decide if it happened. It's like, no. This is not an opinion.
Not optional. You teach that the Holocaust happened so that we remember the horror so that it may never happen again.
What a fucking douche.
What a douche.
I'm glad he lost his job again.
I am too.
Stupid ass Florida.
Florida man. Recently unemployed Florida man.
A recently unemployed Florida man. Perhaps he moves to Mississippi?
Oh, that he might fit in better in Mississippi. According to lawandcrime.com, a Republican lawmaker called for the state to secede from the union after the election was called for Biden.
Okay, bye.
Mississippi gets 47% of its funding from the federal government.
Like, okay.
You can't survive without us.
Yeah. Any state that wants to secede, and I mean that about California too. Okay, let's go. Fine.
What is California, like the sixth biggest world's economy?
The fifth.
Okay.
Like, let's go. Or when Mississippi says, we're going to secede because we don't like Biden. Okay, bye. Anywhere in the South, bye-bye. Don't care.
Mississippi Rep. Price Wallace, a Republican, a former farmer who's first elected to the State House of Representatives in 2018, made the comments on Twitter this week in response to the social media post from a former Republican state lawmaker, Robert Foster.
So Foster first made national headlines last year when, as a Mississippi gubernatorial candidate, he refused to allow then Mississippi Today journalist Larison Campbell to participate in a ride-along with him unless she agreed to bring along a male colleague, because Foster observes the Billy Graham rule, which our soon-to-be former Vice President Mike Pence also does. It's the whole thing where he can't be in a room without his wife, or a room with any other woman if his wife isn't there, because, like, I guess they just cheat on. I don't totally get where this comes from.
To avoid any decision that may evoke suspicion.
What the fuck does that mean, though? Like,
it means that women are temptress and men can't be trusted.
It just sounds like a male problem.
It's entirely a male problem.
Who's the second man in the room there to protect? Is it to protect the first man who, before getting attacked by this like fucking succubus? Or is it to protect the woman from the first man? Because honestly, 2 men v 1 woman, that doesn't make me feel any safer. And like, what is his wife's? I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. This isn't about fucking Mike Pence. Foster's tweet said, "Not sure who all needs to hear this, but we are not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. The majority does not rule. The law derived from a constitution has the final say. Democrats and their fake news cheerleaders are about to get a hard lesson in civics. After all legal votes are counted and confirmed by their state legislatures, Republicans will accept the results even if it's not in our favor. The same way we did with Obama twice. Sadly, Democrats won't accept the rule of the law if it doesn't end in their favor."
We want to secede from the union and form our own country, Wallace responded in a since-deleted tweet that clearly misspelled the word secede.
Yeah, so first of all, constitutional republic is a form of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And this Foster, I'm not sure what he's trying to say, because like Biden won the popular vote and the Electoral College?
But they're saying legal votes, only counting legal votes, Trump would have won.
I don't get that.
Calls into question all mail-in ballots, and they're saying that dead people voted. It's hogwash. You hear that, Mississippi? It's hogwash.
Malarkey, some may say.
If any of those southern states want to secede, A, learn to spell it. And B, you get a majority of your funding from the federal government.
See you later, fuckers.
Boy.
Speaking of see you later, fuckers. According to ozoxfirst.com, a woman demands free Chick-fil-A after claiming that she's an FBI agent, and then she got arrested. And you know what I say to this? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Hey, man, I could be undercover. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Authorities arrested a woman in Dallas, Georgia, after she allegedly tried to convince restaurant workers that she was an FBI agent and should get free food. Even when the police officers arrived, the woman apparently continued to claim she was a federal agent.
So according to the news outlet, which was Fox News, this is not the first time Ragsdale, who I'm assuming is the woman, has attempted to get free food and has threatened to arrest employees when they don't provide the food.
Officers placed Ragsdale in handcuffs and arrested her. She reportedly pretended to talk to a supposed radio in her shirt. Commitment. You gotta commit.
No, you can't back down. You cannot back down.
Improv 101, you gotta commit.
Yep.
Reporting that she was being arrested and that the FBI needed to send someone to the Rockmart Police Department.
Look, if you believe it, we'll believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. And
she probably pulled out a gun. This is a visual medium, so this is going to fall flat, but she probably held the gun the incorrect way in improv, which is where you point your finger out.
Yes.
But if you're holding your gun in space work the correct way, you hold your finger like you're holding a trigger.
Yeah, which also in real gun holding, don't put your finger on the trigger.
Don't hold it there.
Yeah, so there's bad improv, good improv, bad gun holding. In a statement obtained by the Polk County Standard Journal, Rockmart Police Chief Randy Turner said, "We are thankful for the observant and professional staff at CFA, Chick-fil-A, who knew what to do and gathered the info needed for us to make our case and catch her in the act. We would like to inform citizens to call 911 if someone is claiming to be an officer, if they aren't in a marked car or in proper uniform, or if they don't have proper credentials."
I mean, this lady, again, commitment. I respect it. Respect the hustle.
Now, if you work for the FBI, do you get free food?
If so, why did I not sign up to be an FBI agent?
Yeah, I mean, because I think we would be good FBI agents.
I would, oh my God, I would so good cop. I would so good cop somebody, and then I would turn on him on a dime and bad cop him.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, I would become their friend. I would say, I totally understand why you wanted to drown your kids in a bathtub. And then I would hard turn and bad cop them.
Yeah, who do you think is the good cop and who's the bad cop between the two of us?
I find that you're very polite.
Thank you.
And that you would be like a very good cop. But I don't know. I think I could go bad cop.
I think that you could go bad cop simply based on the fact that you will get there, you know? Like, I think I can like, hey man, like, we've been there. I get it. And we're trying to help you. But if you don't want to work with us, then I'm going to have to send Erika back in here. And you just like with like a, you know, like a Renaissance fair, like size, like turkey leg, just standing on the other side of the door, just eating it, like staring at them, and, like ready.
You're going away, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're going away if you don't cooperate.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think we'd be a pretty good team.
I say we apply for the academy.
The police academy?
No, the FBI academy.
Is that different?
That's different.
We'd have to learn how to fight.
Ooh, that'd be fun. You know, you get paid to go to the police academy. It's like they pay you like at a rate of like $60,000 a year just to go through the academy, I believe.
Well, I mean, they like also pepper spray you in the face, though.
Ooh, not worth it.
No.
I think that would be an entertaining show, though, watching like a fat comedian try to go through the police department training.
I believe the movie's been made. It's called something Seth Rogen started.
Oh, damn. All right.
I'm pretty sure actually in general that concept has been done.
Has that been done? But like a documentary about it, not a comedy show.
Did you just get a package from Alexa?
I've got to unplug her because, yeah.
Nice. What'd you order?
I don't know. Probably
sounds like a sex toy.
Probably the show that, or the movie that Seth Rogen made about going to the police academy.
What is it called? Oh, Observe and Report.
Okay.
Yeah. Our next story is a bummer. It's
a huge setback.
So according to Consequences of Sound, which is Erika's favorite website, Britney Spears has lost her latest conservatorship case, and she's threatened to never perform again.
In a slight win, Corporate fiduciary Bessemer Trust will now co-conserve with her father, James Spears.
After losing a court case to remove her father, James Spear, from the conservatorship control over her life, Britney Spears has threatened to never perform again.
We covered the Free Britney movement in a previous episode, but for those of you who don't know, the pop star has been under a court-ordered conservatorship for 12 years, first placed after following a series of mental breakdowns and health issues and very public breakdowns.
Yeah, so her father has been running all aspects of her life ever since, which is a lot longer than a normal conservatorship takes place. And so now there's this Free Britney movement because people are like, think that he's kind of working her, like, you know, when she's mentally ill or doing all this stuff for his own profit and his own interest.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's things to be said. I mean, I definitely think that this is like fucked up and that I don't know that Britney can take control of her own life, but I don't think that her dad should do it.
Oh, see, I feel very differently. I think she should be able to do whatever she wants to do with her fortune, with her money, with her career.
Okay, so there's an interesting part of this article that I read that said that James, like, and part of the reason why the judges like ruled in his favor was she was like in the red and he brought her fortune back up to 60 million. How the fuck does Britney Spears get into the red?
Bad record deals, I would say. I don't know.
Wow, like you would think that her net worth is insane, right?
I mean, I would speculate it over 100 million based on.
It's 115 million according to Celebrity Net Worth, which is obviously
the word of record.
Yeah, it's like a bullshit thing. And then there's a Business Insider that says that her net worth is 59 million, and then this article mentions 60 million. So like, what the fuck? It's shocking to me. Her living expenses must be so high. I don't know.
I'm on the edge of the opinion that Britney should have complete approval over her financial spending, over her body. This conservatorship, like she can't hire her own lawyer because she doesn't have the capacity to do so according to the conservatorship.
I think it's fucked. I'm just saying. Part of me is thinking that she can't handle it either.
And if she can't handle it, I think that's her right to not handle it as well.
Totally. But I mean, she's just, I don't know. It's just sad.
It's a sad state of affairs, but there is a slight win. Like we said, the Bessemer Trust will now co-conserve with her father, and they have no dog in the hunt, if you will. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of like a win for Britney herself.
Yeah. She probably won't ever go back to her Vegas residency ever again, too.
I'm thankful every day that I actually got to see her Vegas residency in person.
Was it cool?
It was awesome.
Damn it.
It was for a bachelorette party with like one of Britney Spears' biggest fans. So just watching her do the dances alongside Britney, it was an amazing show, but it was awesome to watch it through the eyes of someone else. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It was really sweet. You know what's not really sweet?
Ranch dressing?
Yeah. It's tangy.
Unless you get like some, really processed shit, then there's like a lot of sugar in there and you're like, why?
According to our next story at the NewYorkPost.com, a Kansas teen covers himself in ranch dressing during a drug-fueled vandalism spree.
Yeah. He was dressed, but not for success. That's what the article says. I wish I would have written that myself.
The Shawnee County Sheriff's Office said the 17-year-old unidentified boy was wreaking havoc naked around 3:30 a.m. Saturday at Petro Deli.
He covered himself in ranch dressing, damaged property inside the business, ran outside, jumped into a running vehicle, and then crashed into a nearby pillar.
Oof. The sheriff said that they believe he was under the influence of drugs and brought him to a local hospital for treatment.
He was later released to his parents' custody, and they're happy to report that no one was injured during this incident. I'm just thinking about the smell.
Oh, yeah. Teenage body odor plus ranch dressing? Disgusting. Disgusting.
Oh, no.
And if you're doing drugs, do you find that there's like a certain smell to drugs as well?
I don't do drugs.
I don't do drugs either, but when you're around people that are doing drugs or have done drugs,
I don't know.
Maybe you're making that up.
What kind of drugs are we talking about?
I don't know. I feel like, and I've never done it. I can't speak to this, but I feel like cocaine has like a smell. Marijuana has like a distinct smell.
Marijuana, of course. But I thought that the whole joke of like, someone's like, is that cocaine? Let me smell it to see. But it's like, it's a joke because you're snorting it.
Oh, I'm so naive and simple.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, Erika.
I need to be fact checked. That's for sure.
So maybe you have done cocaine because people are like, does this smell like cocaine to you?
I will tell this story. I will leave out the names of the perpetrator to protect the innocent, but I am white hot mad about this. I might have done cocaine once.
Whoa.
I was at a music festival.
Okay.
And some friends found a vial, like what I assume is like a Coke vial.
Sure.
And they were like, we think we found cocaine. And I was like, flush it down the toilet. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, who is not my friend, and I hope she knows that, dipped her dirty festival hand in the Coke vial and then rubbed it on my gums and said, now we've all done it.
What the fuck?
When I tell you, I fucking screamed, like, internally. I don't know if I was up all night because I was so angry or if it was actually cocaine.
I'm not kidding you. I am not a violent person, but if someone did something like that to me, I feel like I would punch them. It
was such a violation and never truly apologized to me either.
I mean, that could have been Special K. Is that like the cool way to talk about it? Special K.
I think so. Like, it could have been, it could have been ketamine, could have been meth, it could have been anything.
That's fucking bananas.
And more so than the drug itself that was forced upon me or whatever it was. It could have been powdered sugar for all I fucking know.
Sure.
It was the fact that you put your dirty festival hand in my mouth.
Ugh.
And made me do something against my will. I forever hate this person. And I don't hate anyone.
Man, I want to fight this girl for you.
Thank you so much. It took everything in me to remain calm. Again, I was up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but I do blame the anger more than if it was a drug.
Wow. I mean, there's part of me that envies the kind of people who are free enough to just, like, within their bodies enough to see random undescribed drugs or pills and be like, well, take it and see what happens. Mm-hmm. I am not that person. I would literally, like, launch into an anxiety attack immediately as I waited for it to ruin my body. But that's fucking scary.
Yeah, it was one of the worst moments of my life.
God damn. And you told it on this podcast.
Yeah, I told that story. I'm getting angry as we speak. So let's move along to our next story because I
don't know if this is going to help. According to the New York Times, fact check Facebook and Twitter has conservatives switching their apps. Since the election, millions have migrated to an alternative social media such as Parler, Rumble, and Newsmax.
As the companies have clamped down on misinformation, they have clashed with Republican and conservatives who have spread lies about the election's outcome, leading to claims that the tech platforms are censoring them.
Hold on, I have to sneeze. I don't like sneezing, bro. Is that weird?
No, it's unpleasant.
When they're like, oh, a sneeze is 1/8 of an orgasm, I'm like, give me the whole fucking thing.
Nope.
All right. Among those who have spoken out are Mark Levin, who's a far-right radio host, and his millions of listeners. He vented on his show last week that tech and media companies are not representing the conservative point of view. Maria Bartiromo, who's a Fox Business anchor, also expressed frustration with Twitter, saying it was blocking conservative statements.
But Mr. Levin and Miss Bartiromo and others did not stop there. They directed their followers to the other social media apps and news sites that have positioned themselves as alternatives to Facebook and Twitter. The beneficiaries are Parler, a Twitter-like app that describes itself as the world's premier free speech social network, and the right-wing media app Newsmax, and other social sites like MeWe and Rumble, which have purposely welcomed conservatives.
So this kind of shit, like, scares me, to be
Uh-huh.
honest. Because it makes me mad enough that so much misinformation has gotten spread on the social media sites, and I'm, like, happy that these companies are starting to do something about it now.
Mm-hmm.
But let me pose a question. If you are living in a country where you're dead ass convinced that everything that is being told to you is a lie, and that everything that you believe to be true, you're being told is a lie, wouldn't you go insane?
Oh,
Like, how scary would that be?
for
To, like,
sure.
live and hold a point of view where, like, you can't watch Saturday Night Live. And, like, you can't check Twitter without everything that you believe to be true to be telling you it's false. When do you have the moment where you go, I need to soul search a little bit and question my beliefs? Or is that you kind of giving in? Like, I don't know. It just, like, this is so crazy to me, that this happens to people. And I almost feel a slight amount of sympathy for them, because it seems like such a scary existence to live in.
I think the fractured information system where news is politicized, so where like you do feel like it's being censored, it is, I mean, that's scary. Like, this is a civil war, is having two sets of what facts are.
Right. I just feel like whenever I've been exposed to, like, kind of conservative leaning facts, they're scary. I mean, this kind of stuff brainwashes people using fear tactics. And imagine being part of QAnon and believing that, like legitimately believing that top Democrats are pedophiles and like running a child molest ring. And that's just what you think is happening in the country that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
How fucking, when you've spent your entire life living in the United States, and then all of a sudden, you've got something telling you that you believe to be true, that this is, like, that's fucking terrifying. I don't know. I just hate this, because all this is going to happen is that there's going to be outlets where it's just going to get worse and more unchecked, and we're going to have more civil unrest. And
Mm-hmm.
all I see from this is people becoming more radicalized, more likely to commit violence, more people who maybe weren't racist before becoming racist now, like, all kinds of shit. It's just like, I don't know. This fucks me up.
Well, I think you can come back from it, which is the good news. I think, our next story kind of shines light on the fact that you can come back from it.
I want to say one more thing, is that Shannon McGregor, a professor at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, says that she's skeptical that any migration to these other sites would lead to permanent departures from Facebook and Twitter, because if there is no one to argue with, no omnipresent journalists or media entities to react to, how long can it actually last?
My goal is to join Parler and then get kicked off somehow.
Really?
Yeah, I think that would be hilarious.
I think what needs to happen is that we need to, like, see which companies are giving ad revenue to these other sites and boycott those companies.
That's a great idea.
Because that fucking works. Like, when all those companies got called out, like, hey, why are you advertising on Breitbart? Then all of a sudden they're like, oh shit. And they stopped. And Breitbart suffered. So, anyways, okay, yes. So our next story is from the NewYorkPost.com.
The wealthy Arizona PR exec who went viral for smashing a display of masks at Target is penning a book about her family, blaming her jaw-dropping mental breakdown on QAnon.
Melissa Rain Lively, who's 35, has been seen more than 100 million times from a video in July where she had a wild outburst in a Scottsdale Target, repeatedly, like, swearing, and she's ripping masks off of this display saying, we're done with this, we're done with this, we're done with this, we're done with this, we're fucking done. And then the employees come over and they're like, hey, oh my God, can you please stop? And she's like, why are you discriminating against me? Because I'm a blonde woman? I'm a blonde woman wearing a fucking $40,000 fucking Rolex? Like,
yeah.
Did you watch the video? It's fucking crazy.
It's insane. Yeah. Like, I'm using that word because that is what it is.
Yeah. So she said, my downfall was so spectacular, jaw-dropping, shocking, she told the Washington Post as she reveals plans for her book called You Can't Cancel Me, The Story of My Life.
Lively said she recovered after the week-long involuntary hospitalization as well as the 8-week trauma program at Meadows, the pricey rehab to the Stars Center in her home state.
Central to her recovery was swearing off QAnon, the conspiracy theory that alleges that the world is run by a cabal of powerful Satan-worshipping pedophiles working to undermine President Trump, who is trying to stop them. Which, this is what I'm saying. Imagine if that is your fucking reality.
Mm-hmm. I was consumed with doom scrolling on the internet, she told the paper. I was living these conspiracy theories. All of this fear porn that I was consuming online was just feeding my depression and anxiety.
Anybody who tells you that QAnon is a bad guy, including your friends and family, it happens gradually and you don't realize that you're getting more and more deep in it.
It left her living in a fantasy land in her own mind to the point where she called the mental breakdown episode now seems kind of like an out-of-body experience, she said.
Okay, so when I first read this story, I was kind of irritated. I was like, of course, like, get a book deal, you fucking cunt. Like, whatever. Why are we rewarding this?
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought more about it, and I love reading books of Reformed Scientologists. I love consuming documentaries about Reformed Scientologists. So what's the difference? So
Accurate.
I'm gonna say my initial reaction was wrong and that I am trashy enough to perhaps enjoy this book a lot.
I will definitely pick it up from the library. I don't know if I feel good about giving her any money.
You socialist.
Oh, man. According to Vox.com, Dean Browning, the former commissioner at Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, confused Twitter users on Tuesday when he replied to his own tweet claiming to be a gay black man who voted for Trump. In reality, Browning is a white man who describes himself as a proud pro-life and pro-A2 Christian conservative, as his Twitter photo and Twitter bio clearly illustrate.
What's pro-2A mean?
I don't know.
It says, let's see, pro-2A. Oh, it's the Second Amendment. Okay. That's fair. So on November 8th, Browning tweeted, "What Trump built in 4 years, Biden will destroy in 4 months," which is a standard sentiment for MAGA people. And then on Tuesday, November 10th, another user argued that actually it was Obama who built what Trump takes credit for. And Browning came back with a retort that says, I'm a black gay guy, and I can personally say that Obama did nothing for me. My life only changed a little bit, and it was for the worse. Everything is so much better under Trump, though. I feel respected, which I never do when Democrats are involved. But he fucked up because he said this under his Twitter name.
So clearly he was running 2 Twitter accounts. One is a black gay guy and one is himself. And he forgot to log back into the other reply. This is often called sock puppeting online.
This story gets kind of crazy, though, because he left the tweet up for several hours, and then he claimed that he was quoting a message that he received earlier in the week, but he was sorry if it wasn't clear in context. Within minutes, a Washington Post journalist found the smoking gun, which was a fake account who says, "You know who replies to Dean Browning a lot? Dan Purdy, a gay black Trump supporter who joined Twitter in October."
Huh.
They found the fake account.
At Dan Purdy 322 is an account with a cartoon of a black man wearing a beanie as avatar and a Trump 2020 logo as its header. As people on Twitter soon discovered, it also has a history of posting extremely racist and sexist remarks. Sample tweets include, quote, "Black people can't count," and "Black women will be the death of America," and then many others in Purdy's short time on the platform.
So apparently this isn't a new trend. A lot of pro-Trump bot accounts have existed that there were people that weren't real. And a lot of them used photos of black men from news reports or stock images, including one in which the text still said "black man photo" watermarked on the image.
Oh my God.
But this plot thickened when a black man posted a video claiming to be Purdy himself.
I sent that message to Dean. Dean accidentally posted it somehow, and that's the end of the story, he said. No, he's not a sock puppet. No, I'm not a bot.
Okay, so then this video comes out, right? That Dan Purdy is real. Here's his video. But the internet was like, no. We're not done yet. Turns out that other people on the internet have noticed similarities between this person who's claiming to be Dan Purdy and another man named William Holt, otherwise known as Bly Holt, otherwise known as the adopted son and nephew of music legend Patti LaBelle.
Holt has indeed written several articles on Medium complaining about feminism and anti-racism in the media, and proudly calls himself an anti-feminist TV critic.
What happened, do you think? Do you think that this weird Republican senator was like, shit, I really found myself in a bind. Let me reach out to Bly Holt, who I know hates the same things that I hate, and see if he'll pretend to be Dan Purdy? Or do you think that, in fact, Bly Holt has the fake Dan Purdy account?
This is like a stupid murder mystery that I can't seem to figure out. Like a sexist, racist murder mystery that I can't wrap my head around.
That Patti LaBelle is involved in somehow now.
Leave Patti alone.
What a stupid shit show. You know what I liked about this, though, is that the internet found it out.
Yeah. Internet sleuths like John Hendren, better known as @Fart on Twitter.
Great name.
Great name. He used Google to discover that Dan Purdy was also the name listed on a suspended account that had a history of several other aliases, including Pat Riarchi and White Goodman. All faces and videos look like William Holt from those other accounts.
Dude, again, I say, what is it like living in this existence with so much hate in your heart?
I just don't know. I do my best to like empathize and try to understand the other side. I truly do.
They're scared. It's like scared animals attack. I don't know.
A hurt dog will holler.
What?
It's just a Southern phrase.
A hurt dog will holler. What? All right. Cool.
Moving on.
According to NewYorkPost.com, the police department in coastal Massachusetts area is pleading with residents to please stop calling 911 about a fish.
The calls began early on Monday when shoregoers began noticing a monstrous sea creature apparently bobbing at the surface. Fearing it may be in danger, many went to call first responders with hope of saving the presumed defenseless fish.
We have checked on it, the department said on Facebook, which why the fuck do cops use Facebook? But it doesn't matter. It's swimming. It is not stranded or suffering. The sunfish is fine. Don't be jealous just because it's not swimming weather anymore. When you see them coming along, it looks like this massive fin coming out of the water. We get it. But 911 isn't a good avenue to report fish that are just swimming around.
Sunfish, also called the mola, have indeed a bewildering animal. For oceanic species, the heavy vertebrate marine fish can grow to 11 feet long and weighs up to 5,000 pounds.
Okay, who the fuck do you call if you see an 11-foot fish in the water?
Not the police.
I don't care. I need a number to call. Because if I saw an 11-foot fish in the water, I would be like, help. Call the Avengers.
Call the Avengers.
I don't know. Call someone. That's too big of a fish.
They need to Thanos snap that fish out of existence. According to mirror.co.uk, bride rages. Wedding dress looks nothing like order before realizing mortifying mistake.
So a bride's Facebook post has gone viral after she lashed out at a wedding shop for the dress that they had sent her for her big day, only for the staff to realize that she had made a hilarious error. She attached photos of the dress that she'd picked up on the mannequin, showing a fishtail with frills and comparing it to how the dress looked on her, with many of the details missing.
But before she realized her embarrassing error, when the shop replied to simply point out, "Hi, you put the dress on inside out. Please put it on the right way."
The bride was left in stitches at her own blonde moment and shared it on Facebook saying, 2 weeks ago my wedding dress came in. I was really upset about the looks of it and sent an angry email to the company about wanting to return it. Blah, 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 blah. Who knew that they shipped wedding dresses inside out? The dress actually turned out beautiful. It doesn't matter how much school we put behind us. We're always going to lack some common sense. Like how to put on clothes properly.
I love this story so much. I love that she admitted her mistake. She laughed at herself. Was total garbage to lash out.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like you are angry somehow.
I was fine with it all until she referred to it as a blonde moment.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason that phrase triggers me.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who is not blonde nor has ever been blonde, I don't know why I give a shit. I just think that it rests in the patriarchy of women being stupid and men preferring blondes for their dumbness.
Oh, that's
But who
totally
knows?
fair.
I could also just get off my high horse and say, haha, this woman put her wedding dress on backwards. I put on clothes backwards all the time. I get it. But for some reason, I'm like, fuck you, bitch. I don't know what it is. Something about this story. I'm like, oh, you put it on rotate out. No doy. Sorry.
No, that's a valid reaction. And I hadn't thought about the larger patriarchy playing into the story.
Am I a bad cop? I don't know.
I think you're bad cop today.
Maybe I just don't have a sense of humor about this.
Fair. I think it's pretty great that it went this viral, just exposing how stupid somebody can be.
Yeah, I guess.
There you go. There's the laugh I've been waiting for.
Oh boy, fine.
Are you ready?
Oh, yes, I believe I am ready. Are you?
I don't know if I'm prepared for this story, but I'm ready.
Okay, because it is time now for the dumpster fire of the week. According to Forbes.com, in a day to remember for a couple, aka their wedding, is not going to be remembered for reasons that they'd hoped, because their 55-person wedding in the small town of Maine ended up giving half the guests COVID-19 and leading to a coronavirus outbreak involving 177 people with 7 deaths.
The CDC reported on the huge outbreak published today details that one of the attendees who reported the COVID-19 symptoms the day after the wedding led to 27 out of 55 wedding guest attendees eventually being diagnosed with the virus.
Another 3 cases were found in other people at the venue, including staff. And the index, or the first case thought to be the person, like the first patient 0 at this wedding, was probably the person who reported their symptoms the next day.
At the time of the wedding, Maine has a 50-person limit for such events, and guests reportedly did not wear masks nor observe physical distancing rules.
So they did temperature checks at the door, but considering that many people with COVID-19 do not report having a fever, this doesn't mean anything. And it's also been suggested that these temperature checks are doing more harm than good because they're giving people a false sense of security,
thus causing them to be less careful with other protective measures like masks and physical distancing.
I'm telling you, Erika, late February, I fucking had this shit. I just know it.
Mm-hmm.
I had every symptom but the fever, and everything in the beginning was like fever, 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 fever. Here's the thing. It's November now. We know so much more about the virus than we did in March, and yet there's still things that are being carried on from what we knew in March.
Yeah.
That people are doing, and specifically people who are doing to try to justify having events like this.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, your shit's not going to be safe unless you have people in masks.
Yeah, the mental gymnastics people are doing to get around this is outrageous.
Yeah, check everyone's temperature. Fine. And go ahead and sanitize everything while you're at it. But if you're not going to have masks on, then you're just in a real clean room where no one has a fever. That's it.
Yeah. One of the wedding guests visited a parent in the day after the ceremony. The parent was a healthcare worker at a long-term care facility, and a few days after that interaction became sick with COVID-19 symptoms. Despite experiencing symptoms, the person worked at a home care for 2 days before seeking a COVID-19 test. This led to an outbreak of 38 cases among staff and residents at the long-term care facility over 100 miles away from the wedding.
So 6 people in this long-term care facility died. 6 people died, and none of those 6 people were at the wedding.
Another guest worked at a correctional facility around 200 miles away where the wedding reception took place. This individual reported symptoms of COVID-19 1 week after attending the ceremony. Despite this, the person worked daily 8-hour shifts in 2 separate correctional facility units while symptomatic. This led to 18 additional cases in staff members and 48 inmates in the facility. 16 additional household contacts of staff were also sickened.
Remarkably, a list of guests at the wedding was either not made or wasn't made available to authorities in tracing the outbreak, with a report stating that the Maine CDC likely undercounted cases of illness that were linked to the event, and the attack rate for the reception guests thus is a conservative estimate, which is to say it could be worse. It probably is worse.
Yeah. Fuck your wedding. It can wait.
It's got to wait. I mean, either that or it's got to be itsy beatsy beatsy beatsy. Like 55 people. 55, that's not a small wedding.
That's not a small wedding.
A small wedding is 8 people.
Yes.
8 people outside, and probably split between the 8 people, maybe 2 households.
I'm going for Thanksgiving to visit family, but it's like their household is 7 people, and then my partner and I will both get tested prior to coming down there, and even that I'm nervous about.
Yeah. We're not doing Thanksgiving this year, but we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for Christmas. And even still, it's like, it's just the combination of 2 households, but like my mom would be coming from Arizona, and that gives me the heebie-jeebies. This shit is no fucking joke. It's crazy how fast it spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Never ceases to amaze me to hear stories about this where it spreads so fast. But it's like, we got earlier last week, like Amber Alerts sent to our phone. Basically.
Yeah. If you lived in LA County, you got a COVID-19 warning sent to your phone like an Amber Alert.
Yeah. And so, like, what are people doing in response? Continuing to have birthday parties. Continuing to, go out to restaurants. They're like, you guys, we can all be trashy at home.
It's so easy to be trashy at home. You don't have to be in public.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
It's so easy.
Post an Instagram story where you're just talking about your day. That's so annoying and trashy. I do it all the time.
They're perfect. They're perfect little capsules of trash.
Or, like Erika posts old traveling photos.
Because I've run out of new photos.
Yeah, but she still finds a way
to post a thirst trap and keep the trash alive.
Yes. Just knock it off. You know what else I read? It was on the New York Post. It was like 5 tips for how to have sex during coronavirus. And the number 1 tip, have sex with yourself.
That's a great tip.
Stay home and have sex with yourself. Number 2 tip, have sex with someone you live with.
It feels like they just had a 500 word count to hit and they were just...
Number 3, no kissing.
Oh, yeah. No mouth-to-mouth contact.
Yeah. Number 4, no anal. I guess COVID passes through anal more likely than it passes through
vaginal walls.
Non-anal. And number 5 is, of course, you got to date someone. You have to actually put in the legwork, and you have to like get to know them. And like, let them get to know you and really like establish things. And then finally you can have sex with them.
That sounds exhausting.
It is definitely the worst of all 5, but just kidding. Honestly, the worst one sounds like no kissing.
Oh, that sounds kind of ideal. Just get to it.
Really?
No, but...
God. Of like, okay, I don't want to put in the work to date, but I do want to have sex. So I'm just going to suggest to the stranger, hey, let's fuck. No kissing.
No kissing.
That sounds insane. What a dumb dumpster fire. Erika, what are you hoarding this week?
Okay, I know this isn't your world, but let me tell you, there is a new Housewives franchise. So a new city.
Okay.
And it's Salt Lake City. And at first you say, Salt Lake City? What? We've got ex-Mormons. Somebody that's converting to Islam. And she says, Assalamu alaikum, bitches. We've got a Pentecostal preacher who married her step-grandfather and has a child with him.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is insane.
We've got Jack Mormons. We've got regular Mormons. It is It's a new franchise. It just aired on Thursday, so you can catch up real easy. You don't have to know the rules. It's the first new franchise in a while where they actually knew that they were going to be Housewives via Bravo, because a lot of times these shows are packaged as something else, and then in their first season they rework them to be Housewife cities, and then they become Real Housewives of blank city. Like Dallas was a show about women in charity, so the first season is like heavy emphasis on charity. Potomac was a show about etiquette in the DC area, so those women were all focused on etiquette. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has known that they are going to be housewives since the inception of the filming. It is so fucking good. We kick off with a vow renewal.
Oh, wow.
Which is a kiss of death for a housewife marriage. Like, if you renew your vows, you are going to get divorced. So we kick off with that. She has been excommunicated from the church because she married a married man, and they both had partners when they originally got married, and she was 5 months pregnant.
Wait.
She does a pole dancing routine at her vow renewal reception while her father watches on.
Hold on. They were both married separately.
Yes.
While being married separately, got married to each other?
They divorced and then got married to each other, but they were having an affair.
I see. And the affair resulted in a child.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, cool.
It is wild already. I mean, we're one episode in, and this is like, we're just meeting the women. They get into a fight about whether someone smelled like hospital or not. You smelled like hospital. That's like the first episode fight.
Honestly, no one has ever made a Housewives more interesting than you have just made it now, because I've had dozens of friends tell me, you gotta. And I watched Beverly Hills a long time ago with an old roommate, but it was just because she watched it. But this, I mean, I feel like we're bordering on like TLC madness here.
It's pure madness, and there's wealth in Salt Lake City that I had no idea about.
Sure.
There's a woman who is Jewish by heritage but is Mormon now. So she has this like thick East Coast accent because that's where she came from. It is wild. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
What are you hoarding this week?
I was recommended on my other podcast, Nooner, which I actually don't think that he did this on air. So this is like fucked up. This is like inside. You know, if you listen to Nooner, you didn't get this recommendation last week. But I was recommended Toast of London.
Oh, I've seen that on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen it, come up in the queue.
Was screaming laughing.
Oh, excellent.
Like, I mean, I had a bottle of wine that night, but I've returned to the show and it's still very funny. I watched the first 2 episodes screaming laughing. It's so fucking funny, and I'm still cruising through it. It was in between that or recommending this like Auntie Donna like house party thing.
House party sketch show. It's very funny. It's
funny, but it's almost like there's just never, like, it doesn't breathe. So it kind of makes me anxious to watch it. Mm-hmm. It has like very like reminiscent of like, Adult Swim kind of their types of content. So I was in between the two, and I guess I've kind of recommended them both, but I think Toast of London, if you like British humor and you like Matt Berry, it's just, it's so fucking funny.
I love Matt Berry.
Funny. Yeah, I really recommend it. Are you throwing anything out this week?
Yes, I am throwing out turmeric shots from Trader Joe's.
Ugh, gross.
I take a turmeric wellness shot. It's turmeric, ginger, some other ingredients. And I know for a fact that within 5 minutes of taking that shot that I will have to go to the bathroom. You might as well draw a line from my mouth to my bowels, just a straight line, that I will instantly have diarrhea upon taking this wellness shot. And I took one prior to a meeting, just not thinking, just eating my breakfast, 9 a.m. meeting, and then had to white knuckle it for an hour.
Erika.
And I said, why did I do this to myself? I couldn't get up from the meeting. I couldn't turn my camera off and be gone for 5 minutes. I was like active participant in a meeting, a work meeting. So I would just say, I don't know what the health benefits are for turmeric. They're supposed to be anti-inflammatory. It's supposed to be very good for you. But if it does to you what it does to me, it's not worth it.
Talk to me if you care. Are we talking number 1 or number 2?
Oh, number 2, instantly.
Okay, so Trader Joe's has another product called they're like dried mango, but they're the chili lime ones.
Uh-huh.
The chili mangoes. And a friend of mine and I literally call those colonic, because if you eat these chili mangoes, you will you will lose everything that is inside of you. So while this sounds disgusting, I am not going to lie, you've piqued my curiosity with these turmeric shots.
They're in the refrigerated aisle. I would say, check them out at your own. Be warned.
At your own risk.
At your own risk. What are you throwing away this week?
I'm throwing out Fix-It tickets.
Oh, such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I believe we've spoken about these before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I've even talked about this even recently, but we did, but then I got it cut out of the podcast.
Uh-huh.
So I have to cut this part out too. I'm throwing out Fix-It tickets. I think we've brought up the inconvenience to them before, but I got pulled over about a month ago, and police officer gave me a Fix-It ticket, which was good because I was speeding in a construction zone, so it could have been worse for me. And so I went to CHP and I got signed off on or whatever. And now I thought that was it. I thought CHP signed off and took it inside and did something with it. Turns out I gotta stick this fucking thing in the mail with a $25 check or money order. I'm being really lazy here, but who the fuck has checks?
I just re-upped my order of checks because my parking structure only takes checks or cash.
Oh my God. I don't have checks.
I'll write you a check.
It's just as inconvenient for me to pick up my check from you as it is to go down to my bank to get checks or to get a money order.
That's fair.
You'd like to write the city of San Bernardino a check on my behalf.
Yeah, I can do that.
But no. Why are you making this convenient? I'm trying to throw it out.
Well, you would have to come to my house, pick up the goddamn check, and then mail it. It's still a hassle.
And I don't have envelopes either, and I need envelopes. The point is that this is just really a lot of work.
This sounds awful. I'm so sorry you're going through this.
So shitty. Why couldn't that cop just let me speed in a construction zone? Fucking dick. Give me a Fix-It ticket for something that I should have already done to my car. I didn't have my permanent license plates on there. They were sitting in my back seat.
Oh.
Yeah. He was like, "You got your temporary plates on?" I was like, "Yes, but here are the regular ones." I held them up for him. And we all had a fucking laugh. But who's laughing now? Not me.
I need somebody strong to screw them on for me, officer. Did you try that?
Yes.
Didn't work?
No.
Damn.
I can't. My women brain doesn't know how to use a screwdriver.
Flathead or Phillips, it's so hard.
I don't even know if I can carry it in my purse.
Oh, that is garbage, and I'm sorry you're going through that.
Thanks. I don't know what's worse, me or the Fix-It tickets in this scenario. Maybe both tied for first.
Well,
where do the people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at iconic Erika Curry, and I am losing followers by the day by posting about Biden-Harris, and I am fine with that, but I would like to uptick the old follower count, so find me at iconic Erika Curry, and they can find me at Gillygal on Twitter. Where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Cardenes. I haven't lost any followers because of my posts. I did lose Twitter followers this summer when I was posting a lot about Black Lives Matter. But yeah, no, I think I am securely in the center of my bubble now. The only followers I'm going to lose are followers that are fake bots. I didn't know anyways.
Maybe they're bots. Maybe I'm losing bots, not people.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Wires crossed, if you will. Because they're bots.
Mm-hmm. And you can find this podcast at Trashy Pod on Instagram and Twitter. You can send us an email and tell us why you're trash at trashypodcast@gmail.com. And if you can, leave us a 5-star review. It helps the show grow, helps more people discover the show. Tell a friend, tell a pal. Just put it on in the car if you're traveling with people. See what they say.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Just don't say anything. Throw it on the old iPod and just see what they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Say, I have to listen to this for work. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And the people are going to be like, you work at a McDonald's.
You're an accountant. Why do you have to listen to this?
They'll understand.
Yeah. Hey, Cass.
What's up, girl?
Stay garbage.
You too, Erika. Stay garbage.
Bye.
Bye-bye.